But this feels a little bit more normal. You can push a little bit more, you can find a bit more pace. I run wide there, we're gonna make it? Oh, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. We're not. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for a brand new video on WRC9. Welcome back to the series, the WRC9 Tips to Be Fast series. So we're here, and this time, as promised, right here in front of us, we've got rainy conditions. How do you drive under wet conditions? Is it easy? Is it hard? Well, you're gonna find out now. Whether it's hard or easy, you're gonna make it. You're gonna come out of this video as a master of rain, or at least as good as I am at rain. I've already said this from the beginning of the series. I'm not the best person to explain tricks and tips and all that, but I'm quite a decent driver, and I think I could really help out a lot of you out there who really are watching my WRC9 corner, want to improve on this game. So we're here on the test area, driving the Hyundai R20 of Tarmac. A lot of you have been telling me, TM, please drive the Hyundai R20, TM, please drive us all Tarmac. I've got a lot of Estonian fans, and the reason for that is because I made back in WRC5 a career mode, which was based on Tarmac. It was an Tarmac career mode, and people really liked it. A lot of people from Estonia liked it at the time because Tarmac was like a talent in the making back in the day. So test area, here we are, driving the Hyundai. We're going to be talking about how to drive in rain, and the main things that you need to know about rain is how to control the understeer, when to brake, how much throttle to apply, and when to use the handbrake. I'm not talking about using the handbrake for hairpins. It's the same thing as on dry conditions, but brake distance is different on in rain. Brake distance and the amount of pressure you're also applying on the brake. So there's a few differences from dry conditions, actually a lot of differences, but not really in theory. It's just about getting used to the rain. It's also about gaining experience in the rain. It's not always very easy to listen to these things and apply them, especially in rain. In rain you have to just practice, and you'll find also your own ways of driving around rain. It's not only one way. So one of the main things is a lot of oversteer through fast corners and understeer through the slow corners. These are the two main characteristics of rain. And also the braking distance. You have to watch out, as I did right there. I didn't really watch out. You have to brake early and not very hard. You have to be very conservative into the brakes, like slow and easy, you know what I'm saying? And also a bit early on the brakes so that you don't really slide out and you're actually going to take the corner. If you don't really brake in the appropriate time, you're probably going to end up, gonna end up not taking the corner, just like I did right there. Saved it just a little bit, saved it there. And that's purely because I managed to control the rear of the car, which is something you really need to specialize in wet conditions if you really want to survive. I've told you that on dry conditions as well, learning how to slide the car, and it's something that you need to really apply under wet conditions as well. So without further ado, boys, let's get into a proper stage, and I'm going to be going to Japan for a stage on stormy conditions. Let's get into it. So here we are in Japan, ready for a stormy stage. First of all, open the headlights. You cannot see anything in rainy conditions. So first of all, as I've already told you, do not brake very late. You're gonna face issues. You're gonna lock up easy your wheels. You're gonna find yourself in a very, very bad situation. Just like I did right there. Alright, but for real now, I'm gonna go slow into this stage to show you what you have to do. Firstly, you have to brake early. For example, here I'm gonna brake here. A bit too late as well. Brake here, in. Now brake here. This is where we made a mistake. You see, braking a little bit earlier, controlling the throttle, facing that little bit of understeer because of the rain. Brake, throttle, brake again. Throttle, easy on the throttle as well on rainy conditions. And here we're gonna face some understeer for sure. Just when I face this understeer, tap a little bit the handbrake to make the car rotate this is a tip. So when you face understeer, what you have to do is just make a little bit of a kick in the handbrake, like, look at that. Something like that, just a little bit, right here. A little bit, like a kick. Just a little bit of a tap into the handbrake, which is not actually going to allow you to go into the barrier. Like right here, you could either like slow down a little bit more, but what I prefer to do is kick a little bit the handbrake, which is just gonna rotate the car. It's not really gonna cost you a lot of time, and you're gonna find it easy to learn how to use that technique sooner or later. Like right here, a little bit of kick on the handbrake. Here, it's just about learning how to control yet again the brake and the throttle. Find the perfect balance. Now dive into the brakes. The hairpins are the same as in the dry conditions. Nothing really changes. Your approach should be the same. This corner is going to try and throw us into the wall, but by reducing our speed, we manage to stay in corner. Right now through there. A turn right and left. Look at this beautiful narrow. And now we're gonna jump into the brakes right here. Good enough, hairpin. You see, it's pretty much the same as on dry conditions. Nothing really changes. What you need to be careful of is the brakes. The main thing about, and also right here, understeer. Reduce the speed to take in the corner. First gear now through there. Gonna pick up second. When you see that you have understeer through a corner, you either do the little bit of a kick on the handbrake, or you reduce speed and try and take the corner. Right here, you're gonna see we're gonna face understeer into the final corner. And what I'm gonna do, slight kick in the handbrake, gonna run wide. Nothing really matters. It doesn't really matter if you run wide at this point. It was the worst corner I could show you off the example, but fairly decent time. Of course, I can actually win this stage. But what I really showed you on this stage is the understeer, how to fight with the understeer on wet tarmac. And there's two ways to do that. Handbrake, a slight tap on the handbrake that will actually move the rear of the car and will help you take the corner, or just reduce speed by braking just a little bit, like a slight push pressure into the brake in order to reduce the speed, and then control the throttle like 70-50% throttle to take the corner in, and just do that. Hairpins are the same as in dry conditions on tarmac. Nothing really changes. And yeah, that's pretty much all about it with wet conditions on tarmac. So let's move on to mud, which really is a problem for most of you out there. So here we are in the place that most of you are afraid of. I'm talking about no other place than Wales. The reason you're afraid of Wales? Well, when water is applied to gravel, it turns into mud. What makes mud so bad for cars? It's very slippery. Very slippery. It doesn't allow you to push. Any tips about that? Well, I can't really say anything, but apply everything I said for tarmac, but on a more cautious note. So, even more earlier in the brakes, do not apply a lot of pressure into the brakes. Just be careful in general. Be careful. Your main target when you're driving on these conditions is do not care even about winning. You want to care about finishing the stages. You're not gonna have rain on all of the stages. This is like a one-off thing, and this is actually the worst condition you can have. This is stormy conditions. This is actually the conditions where you have to be very, very careful. Here it says Titan, so we're gonna pick that third gear right there. Hairpin time. Using just a little bit of handbrake, just like I showed you in the dry conditions. Nothing really changes about the hairpins on this. But here in these conditions, the car can slide much easier, which really helps you for these tight corners there, where you can just slide in and then apply a lot of throttle there. There you go. Also here. Oh god. I'm bad in these conditions. I'm also bad in these conditions. Not badly. It's not the easiest of situations. Don't get me wrong. Like, I highly doubt. Have I ever won a stage on storm conditions? I don't even know. You tell me down in the comments below. Have I ever won a stage in these stormy conditions? All right. So what I decided to do is pretty much do not have storm conditions because they are very hard. Like, if you go into storm on Wales, then good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. Try and apply everything I said, but you're gonna find it hard. That's all I'm gonna say. Whereas stormy tarmac conditions are a little bit easier. Now we're on rainy conditions. You can see less rain, a little bit of everything. So this actually feels. Why do I always do this around here? So this actually feels like storm on tarmac. Like storm and gravel, and actually Wales, just Wales, is very, very hard. But this feels a little bit more normal. You can push a little bit more, you can find a bit more pace. Wrong right there, we're gonna make it? Oh, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. We're not. But either way, what I want you to do is be careful on the brakes and learn how to control each and every single slide. You're gonna turn in here, you're gonna find a little bit of a slide in the back end, you're gonna correct it. A little bit of a slide in the back end, you gotta correct it. Here, braking, third gear. You can actually pick up a lot of speed right there. Hairpin, down into first, handbrake, you see everything that we learned in the previous episode, you just do it. Here you can actually not use the handbrake because the car is very slidey on these conditions, so this actually helps you for these very, very tight corners. You can actually turn in, make the car slide in, and then just turn in as much as you can. Now into this corner, third gear, sliding, and full throttle now into the exit. This tightens into a third gear there. Nice and easy, look at that. This for me is very, very enjoyable. These conditions are amazing around Wales. It really gives you a big challenge for these stages. They're already challenging, but it's absolutely amazing. One thing I haven't even mentioned is the paddles. A lot of you face issues with the paddles. I could agree with you. I feel like they're much more improved from WRC 8. Well, that's for certain for me. Much more improved. This reminds me of career mode. Like I keep on crossing the car. But yeah, paddles. Well, you can actually avoid them. You can actually use them sometimes right before a braking zone to stop. That will help you slow down the car. Yeah, you can either use them under braking. Sometimes they might really like make your car wiggle, which will make you span out pretty much, which is not what we want. Try and avoid them because they're either gonna make your car like spin a little bit, like change directions very suddenly, which is literally not a savable situation. And they also really cost you a lot of time because they slow down the car. But other than that, you can actually use them under very heavy braking zones that will help you, like, you know, slow down the car. But that was a stage around Wales under these conditions. Honestly, if it's stormy conditions around Wales, I have no idea what you can do to actually help yourself out. Just be very, very careful and just get over that stage. Like literally, it's very tough to even win on these conditions. But rainy conditions on Wales, it's actually beatable. You can actually win a stage. You can actually push the car a little bit more. You can be a little bit more late in the brakes. It feels like the tarmac on storm. We've made the comparison of stormy conditions on tarmac to stormy conditions in Wales, which is pretty much mad, to rainy conditions in Wales, which was much better. Well then, how does stormy conditions on tarmac compare to rainy conditions on tarmac, you might be wondering? Same, it feels very, very similar. Whereas in gravel, you could feel the difference a lot between storm and rain. On tarmac, you don't really feel the difference. The only difference, the only real difference is visibility, which under these conditions is massively better because there's less rain dropping into your windshield, which makes it a lot easier to actually realize what's happening right in front of you. So let me recap everything that we said here. Be easy on the brakes, like I'm gonna be right here. Very easy to the brakes, easy to the throttle. So when you face understeer, what we're gonna do, we're facing Understeer right here. We could use the handbrake, make the rear to rotate, and take the corner nice and easy. Hairpins, same as on dry conditions, but be a little bit more careful into the brakes. Depends really on the corner. If it's a wide hairpin, then you can brake a little bit later as well, just like in dry conditions. If it's a tight hairpin, you gotta brake a little bit earlier. Use the handbrake just like we always do, and you're through from the hairpin. Another way to face the understeer is just braking a little bit and reducing your speed, or just like I said, slight tapping to the handbrake, which is gonna pretty much enable the rear of the car, rotate it a little bit. Oh, very late through there. Not the best of ways to do that. As for the paddles, try and avoid them. That's my main advice. I feel like you have to really like avoid them, especially on tarmac, whereas on gravel, you know, they might not really hurt you that much. From my perspective, I think they're massively improved from WRC8, where a single paddle could really just make you spun out, but they can still really mess up your race if you're not very careful. For the time being, you can use them in order to brake, like to help you like slow down the car, but as much as you can try and avoid them, not only because you might spun, but also because they're really slowing you down, you know. So I think that was pretty much all about wet weather driving. I think I haven't really missed anything. As for the next episode, a lot of you have been suggesting it, and a lot of you really want to learn how to go through a stage in general. We've been talking about driving the car, but we haven't really ever talked about what you need to do, what's your like preparation before a stage, what should you watch out, do we listen to the co-driver, how do we listen to the co-driver, how do we memorize the circuit, which gear are we taking through each and every corner, just like I did here, taking first corner without any reason. But either way, I think that must be it for this episode of WRC9 Tips to Be Fast series. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of WRC9 Tips to Be Fast. This was the second episode based on wet weather conditions. How do you drive on wet weather? Hopefully you've improved. As always, make sure you tell me down in the comments below all of your questions. I can really help you out. But hopefully I've covered up everything, which I probably haven't. There's probably still loads of questions that you can actually find, guys, to, you know, make my job even harder. But I always love answering to your comments. So if you have any questions, any further questions on how to drive on wet weather conditions, make sure you put them down in the comments below, and I'll make sure to actually answer to all of them. As for the next episode, as I've already told you, the next episode we're going to be covering up how to approach a stage. Like, what gear do you take on each corner? How are you going to understand each and every single note of the co-driver? We're going to be explaining all of that on the next episode of the WRC9 Tips to Be Fast. As for that, do not brake very late on wet weather conditions, so you're going to end up like me, which I always end up like that. So if you make mistakes on wet weather conditions, don't worry. I make them as well, all the time. All the time. So that was the video for today, guys. If you enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure you ring that bell to get notifications for any brand new videos that I'm going to be posting here on this channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Join me to say if you have any further questions or you just want to chat with me, or you actually have some brand new ideas that you want me to turn into videos. As for today, it's been your boy TM. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and until next video, I'll catch you later. Goodbye.
I know you hear it all the time, but I got to know what's your sign. I know you hear it all the time, but I got to know what's your sign. Let me get that off your mind. It really don't matter, you a Scorpio tonight, and it's. Let me get that off your mind. It really don't matter, you a Scorpio tonight, and it's.